Welcome to the podcast of Terrace Consulting.
Welcome to another episode of the podcast Terrace Hospitality Consulting, episode 66 already. And I have the pleasure today of having with me Federica Salvatori, who went from front desk to reservations, then revenue management, cluster revenue management, director of revenue management for luxury segment. Then she created her own consulting firm, and she's now also lecturing at educational institution. Federica, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Hi, Pablo. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very well. And thank you for this invitation.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. So I did a very, very quick introduction of your career, but as always, I want you to start going step by step how you went from why first you chose this area, this hospitality, and then how you went from reception all the way up to manage revenue.
Yeah, sure. Well, interesting story because I have studied tourism at school, and then at the university I studied languages. Then I had a PhD in linguistics because I fell in love in linguistics. But there was a branch of linguistics that was really analytic. So here we see the connection with revenue, that is syntax. And I had a PhD, but when I was studying and I was finishing my PhD program, I felt the need to enter in the work world and to come back to my first love. That was the hotel. And I understood I wanted to have the contact with people. I wanted to leave the tourism. So I started in the very traditional way from the front desk as front desk agent, where I stayed for there for some years. So it took me some years to decide, in my heart, in my mind, to grow up. So the first years were like enjoying this new world and the clients, customers, and everything. Then at some point when I decided, my career path started and was really with a fast pace. I can say, because I moved to another independent hotel, where I had the role of front office manager and back office manager. But indeed, I was like a deputy manager, because there was the typical Italian independent hotel where you have the owner and then there is you, So it was also pretty challenging because I had this, this weird situation that I was hiring all the staff, because in the front desk, I think there were just a couple of people. Then I was learning that the actual PMS, but at the same time, they also agreed for a new PMS. So at the same time, I was learning the new PMS to lead, the change of PMS, recruiting people because people were missing, knowing the new hotel property and everything. So it was really challenging, but a great opportunity for me to start in the leadership and in the management role. And there is where I had my encounter with revenue management. And because of that, since I got this, this encounter, let's say, I decided to change. And after 6 months or 8 months, something like that, I was already in another property as assistant of the owner. There was also the director of revenue and commercial director, who was a smart guy, really open to revenue management. So we are talking about some years ago, around 10 years ago. And where revenue management started, maybe in Italy arrived a little bit later, but but the revenue was really bringing strength, and I started this new experience. Then the next step was to move into a consultancy company that was, of course, revenue management consultancy. And here I came out from the hotel, entering this company, and had the chance to follow many hotels. So I had a cluster role I followed many hotels, not only Rome, but also in Florence. So let's say the rest of Italy, different categories, so different stars. And there I understood also the importance of following the data in a macro, from a macro point of view, because I noticed that I was able to see the trend in advance, because I found the same pattern in different and in several properties. And that was for me important, because I understood that also the data market were important. And there I was assigned a very nice project about an opening of a boutique hotel. There was a client, and that was a really successful project. So much successful that the customer, so the client asked me, so hired me, you know. So at that point, I came back into the hotel as responsible of revenue, e-commerce, and sales. And I went on with this project. After 1 year, I had another change. And yes, it's really, let's say, it was a change in life, you know. And I entered in the world of the luxury, where I have been working since, for 5 years now. And I started another opening. So I have to say that in my career, I have been, in the last years, specialized in openings as well. That happened in a way that was, you know, by chance. I didn't look for the openings came to me, and I really liked this kind of work and experience, also because there is not so much literature, there is not so much training and lecture about it. And this is the reason why I'm always also writing and teaching on that now. But I'll come to that. So I started this adventure in a 5-star hotel in Rome, because I am based in Rome. I started my career in Rome, and I'm still in Rome. And here I had I was really blessed, because this hotel had an international management from Highgate, that is an international company based in the US, very strong in revenue management. And I could have a training one-to-one with one of the responsible that was in Rome with me. So from Monday to Monday, from morning to evening, for 7 weeks. And that was great, because it's there that I really learned all the international standards, best practice. Of course, I was trained also on the tools, on the tools that they were using, the way they communicate, the formats, but also on international standards and a very high level of revenue. And on the same time, you know, on the other hand, I was giving my knowledge of the market, because they were really good in the US market, but at least at that time, a market as New York was really different from Rome. Now maybe they are similar for the situation that we are living. So the cities are living the same situation, but was really different at the time. And I was learning, but at the same time I was giving my contribute to the property we were following there. And and this was really successful. And then I stayed there for other 4 months, 4 years, where I can say it seemed to me that I have worked for 5 different properties, because we had this management, but then we have been independent. We had there was a renovation going on. So I was dealing with old rooms, premium rooms, different strategies to do. Then we have been closed for a small time where that was really useful for me, of course, for all the strategy, for the opening, the new positioning, the branding, and so on. And then we entered in Hilton chain. And there was something also very, very, very important for me, because I went on with this, with this training, with this word in the international standards. And after a while, I was proposed from them to have a career path to grow up to the position of business development or commercial manager. So what I was missing in my CV was a part in sales. So I was really rooted in revenue and skilled, but I didn't have experience in the commercial. And maybe some years before, I didn't think about there was only revenue, you know. And but when I was proposed, I thought that there was something really good for me, because I could open my mind. I could also know another department in my hotel or in hospitality, and I accepted. So I accepted the challenge, another challenge, to start the groups and events department there, and this meant to have control of everything, you know, of the transient and group inventory, but also the event, also looking at the offer, the creative offer, the F&B offer, the standards, the procedures, and the operational part. That was really a complete experience for me. And when I established in this role, I had another opportunity that I was offered to launch a luxury segment of an existing company of Rome that had only 3- and 4-star hotels, and they wanted to develop in the luxury segment. So they just called me as a person who, have been working in the hospitality and in the luxury for years and had all this experience. And I started and followed this hotel that they were about to open. That was in Florence, and this happened on January 2020. That I moved there. Yes. So in a couple of months, I went to Florence. I went to the construction, rebuilt everything. I have to say, rebuild the room breakdown, because I want to say, if there is somebody with an opening or changing, renovating, the room breakdown is really, really, really important. How you divide your room types, which are the room type supplements. This has to be done in a very smart way by looking at the demand, the request, the need of the customers. You have to respect some criteria, and this is always one part I put a lot of attention, the only one, of course, but a very important one, because I saw in my career that many times this is not done with a revenue mind that knows how to optimize the revenue. And so I did this, and rate structure, rate strategy, pricing, concept, changing the concept, changing the budget and everything. And then on March 2020, we know what happened. So the pandemic arrived, and all these new projects have been frozen for most of us. So for me as well. And what happened in this time, so at this stage in 2020, was interesting, because while everything was stopped, I had, in a way, new doors opening in a different way, of course. So I was, before I was working in the hotel, and in 2020, I saw that I could start everything that I couldn't do before, that maybe I should have done, I'm honest, but I didn't have time to do. So in a very occasional way, so by chance, first of all, I was contacted by previous colleagues or people I knew in our world, hospitality, that asked me for some consultancy services. And yeah, I don't like to be, you know, not, I don't like not to do anything. I like to do. And so I accepted. There was a way for me to, yeah, to go on learning, to go on working and seeing data and properties and so on. So I started in this way. And then I also had the chance to join some live streaming with Funnel TV, the travel tech channel, with my friends Enzo and Simone, who just contacted me and said, why don't you participate to some events? And I said, oh my God, but live streaming, you know, I have never, I mean, I've done this 3-4 times with another group in Italian. That was based and specialized in revenue management, but then I couldn't do it longer just for the time I was mentioning about. And then I said, okay, why not? I joined, and then there everything happened very quickly. You know that the events just grew up. Increased, and my participation became more and more active. I had a lot of fun in that, and for me it was an opportunity to learn a lot, to be updated, to learn, to be in contact with many smart people of our industry. So for me it was a way to be enriched. And so I became also global advisor and project manager of Funnel TV. And we have in pipeline a couple of great events, you know about it. And because I just do a spoiler, because Pablo will be our guest in one of the events that we will have very soon. And also in this time I was proposed to start some teaching, you know, some as a lecture. And I found this a real opportunity to give a contribution to our sector, to our world, hospitality world, because I think that what I could do in 2020 was to take everything that I learned in this year, that I have also experienced on my shoulders, and put it at disposal of people with the live streamings, with also writing, because I was called to write some articles in some blogs. I was invited by HospitalityNet to become a panelist, and that was for me really, I feel very honored about that. I was contacted by Skift for an interview, and really, I was surprised what's happening, because you know, in a year, everything happened that didn't happen before, just because I opened to this and I gave time to this, and that was great. So I also started, as I said, to do some masters and lecture, where I chose to, in particular, to talk about the openings. Because as I mentioned before, what I noticed is that nobody talks about how to proceed to open a hotel, how you can make your strategy, which are the steps you have to do. Because of course you have no historical data, you have no positioning of your hotel. It's not easy, and there is not so much literature. And I said, okay, why don't start? Why don't help people in that? And this is a little bit what happened in these years, and most of all last years.
Which is a long story in a short. No, I mean you've gone from, as I was saying before, from reception, and then the way you've evolved revenue. So independent hotel, international company, investors, and you opening them the market for them, then transitioning to more a commercial role, challenging yourself to go into group and events. So it's ever evolving career. So what is it that you mentioned at the beginning, that even though you had a PhD in languages, you like the analytics, part of that, the data. Is that what you like the most about revenue? Is it number analysis? What is it that you're more passionate about in revenue?
Yeah, for sure. I think being based on data is I think it's really, really, really important because it gives you the direction. And so analyzing data, not gathering data, because now we have a lot of systems that can do that for us, and we have a lot of time more to do analysis and strategy. So gathering, let's say, analyzing the data is I think very, very important. It's what I like. Just interpret the data, understand what's happening, understand the opportunities, and also the actions that we have to take. So starting from the data, we can set a strategy, not only from data, of course, there are also other aspects, but data are really important. And I think that also in this pandemic that we are, in this situation that we are living, if we stick to the data, we can have a better understanding of what's happening, not only in the hospitality, but also maybe in the world, also with this situation. So this is something I really liked of revenue, starting from data to analyze and make the strategy, and then see, you know, how you can really let your property grow. And I think it's really important. And it was weird for me that I connected in my life, I connected everything later, you know, that when I mentioned that I studied linguistics and this analytical part. And I remember a professor of mine, when I went to him, and I went to him for asking questions. I made some really strict questions. And his reaction was, he said, "You are a very analytical person, you know?" And then I found myself in revenue management. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm really an analytical person. But I have learned in the last years with the project and also with the situation with the pandemic to be creative as well. So to be based on data, but to be open to new things as well, to let creativity to enter and co-work with your analytical aspect.
Mm-hmm. Analysis to create strategy. So let's analyze the current situation, which is very, very challenging.
Wow.
Spring 2021. No, I mean, not to get the crystal ball, but more a question of, are you more of an optimist? Are you more pragmatist? How do you see the recovery of the industry?
Well, I have to say that for my new nature, I am pretty optimistic because I like to not to think at the worst thing. And I think also that is important how we think, because we get what we think. It's important how we speak. But of course, at the same time, we cannot ignore the situation. So we see that there is an emergency, that our industry has been hit very, very hard. And yeah, as you said, we don't have the crystal ball. So we cannot really foresee and forecast the timing. I think that everything is really bound to the next development in the of the virus, and also of the response, vaccination, and the country regulations. What I think is that we will not have a very fast recovery. I think it will be in any case slow, although there will be some acceleration. So as soon as probably my opinion, when we will have the pass, for example, in the Europe, we are talking about now the green pass. It's just talking. As we were saying before, nothing has been decided and approved, but when we will have a certificate like that, or a green pass, probably tourism will have a push. And in that case, of course, we will see pick up, we will see something coming back. Cannot say about the time, but I think that I want to think that in every situation we can find an opportunity. One, just to mention this, that I saw in my city, but this is, I think, everywhere, that due to the pandemic, many hotels were forced to think out of the box. And I saw some hotels starting to exploit some spaces that they had that were not used before. And now they just had wonderful places like gardens transformed in a paradise, because you couldn't be inside, you have to be outside, you have to, you know, to keep distance. And I went there and I said, why didn't you do it before? And they just said, well, we didn't think about it. Maybe we didn't need it. Necessity force us to find new ways, you know. I don't want to say that everything is wow, positive and life is is easy in this time, but I think that in this time we can do something, and what is important in any case is that to stay let's say to be careful and understand what's happening in the market, to be ready, to be prompt, to follow, not to stay behind.
Mm-hmm. And to lead with those ideas. I agree with you. I mean, some hotels probably in destinations such as Rome, which is very, very popular, they didn't need to think outside of the box because they had customers anyway. But now it's been a good time to rethink and create new ideas. 100%. Mm-hmm. You touched one point earlier today about we don't have to spend too much time gathering the data because we should have the technology, we have the software. Not every hotel is doing that. So hotels in general have not been the ones leading the technology front. So how do you see that transition now, the transformation? Are hotels now ready? Are they using the right technology, or are they still behind?
Well, ready maybe is a big word. What I saw for sure is that the pandemic has given a real acceleration to the digitalization and the use of technology. So hotels were just forced to adopt new systems. Just think about self-check-in, self-checkout, this thing. But and they just open their mind to these new ways and to the technology. What I see is that we are still a little bit behind, but I also see more hotelier just thinking about it, implementing something, and in any case, something is changing. And I think that also maybe all of us try to contribute to let them understand that technology is not an enemy. It's not taking away job places, but it can facilitate our work. Let us spend less time in mechanical things and have more time for revenue manager, for example, to think, to analyze, to make the strategy. But for let's think about the front office. They have more time for the guest. We don't have front agent that are with the head on computer doing things. Maybe they can really do the job that is welcoming the guests. So I think that we are seeing a little bit this change of looking at the technology. Of course, the way is still long. I mean, the process started and is going on, but of course we still have to do something. And of course, we always have to think about the budget that each hotel has. So I always see the reality in Italy, where as I was saying before, the average hotel is an independent hotel with 40 rooms. So small hotels, of course, here they don't have a big budget, but so I just saying that to say that they don't have to adopt all the technology, everything, but for each property, a right analysis should be done to understand which is the right tool. Of course, some are must, but other can be maybe avoided, or with that budget, they have to select the right tool. and have the benefits from that. But I see a little bit of change.
Which is positive. Again, the pandemic, creating or generating that change within the industry. Historically, revenue was room revenue. And then you've been one of the people who have been transitioning from revenue to more of a commercial approach, a wider approach. And so now we have there's a lot of talk about total revenue. So what is your point of view? Where are we from the only rooms to the complete total revenue?
Well, I think that the revenue management is evolving in any case, and we have to arrive to the total revenue management, because if we think that revenue management is has the goal to optimize the revenue, if we apply to every department, we will optimize the revenue of each revenue center of each department. So the hotel, the property can only have benefit from that. And this is where we have to go, where we are going. Of course, the trend did not change so much a lot. I think that some chains have already done this change, and they are thinking about a person who has a wide approach of revenue management. But of course, there is still something to do. Let's say that probably also the situation that we are living forced us to, as I said, to also to think in a creative way, and this means to involve all the departments. So maybe this pandemic is helping a little bit this process, because if you don't have enough revenue from the room, maybe you are trying to get the revenue from the other departments. So also here I see that a change started. Of course, what is also difficult is then what's happening, how to deal with the different departments. So let's think about different properties. So if I take the traditional Italian one, so the average one, where you have 40, 50 rooms, probably you don't have an HOD, so responsible for each department. So it could be easier to have a person dealing with everything. Of course, here the important thing is that the person is really skilled and prepared on revenue management, and to apply it to different departments, because we know that also in F&B there are specific index from a revenue point of view. There are different ways to implement it, and the preparation is needed in any case. In the more structured hotel, maybe I think that the challenge could be the real communication collaboration between the departments. So I think we have heard a lot talking about the different departments as silos. We have to break the silos. Yes, I do agree. We have to break the silos. We have to go ahead with a unique and let's say 360-degree strategy for the property, and every department should go in that direction, but without having different goals, but cooperating. And I think this is maybe the main challenge. And the first step, I think, is the communication, because sometimes it happens that these departments do not communicate very well, and but through the communication you can have a lot of advantages. So I make an example. For example, when I was in the hotel, I had a weekly business focus meeting. It was a meeting focused on the business, on the commercial, and there was a revenue meeting, but everybody was involved in that meeting, and we were seeing where we were, where we have to go, what was missing, if we had some segments at risk, if we run the risk to miss some targets, or if we were losing opportunities, and so on. Of course, we analyzed the data, but then together we also decided the actions to take with the sales department, with the marketing. So, and the same is for the budget. Of course, when you make a budget, together with the budget, you should have an action plan, revenue, but also sales and marketing, of course, because these actions, the sales and marketing actions, support the revenue, and they are pretty important. And this is, I think, the first step is to, if a hotel doesn't do that, is to implement this. So this meeting through the communication and something also, pragmatic, not the, let's say the another meeting, because I also suffered of all these meetings in the hotel, many people say that in every day you have 1, 2, 3, 4 meetings, and then you would like to also to do your job. It's not another meeting, it's a very important meeting. And through the collaboration, I think it is possible to, to reach very good goals and results.
Mm-hmm. No, it's crucial there. Those breaking the silos you were saying, and you've done it in the past, transitioning from revenue to commercial to get that awareness, and not like everybody is looking down at their numbers, at their department, and cooperating and communicating. These two keywords you mentioned, they're great. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, we're discussing before we hit the record button about the young people who are studying now or thinking about going to our industry. So I can imagine people who are about 18 to 22, for example, they are studying now, they're in uni, maybe finishing their degree in hospitality, and they're thinking, what did I do? Why did I choose this career, this sector? So you have an extensive career. You've been having different roles. What kind of advice or tip can you give to those young people who might be questioning if they took the right decision?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that tourism will recover. So this is just a situation of now that we are living, and that is not the only industry sector anyhow. So tourism will come back, because it's in our nature, in human nature, to travel. So no way that tourism will stop. So I really want to encourage all the young people that chose this kind of path to go on, because if you love tourism and hospitality, is a great industry to work in, and we will see everything coming back. So first of all. Second, what I would like to say is that, I would like to give some advice, some pieces of advice that maybe I wasn't ready to apply when I started, and this is the reason why for some years I stayed there. So I have to say also one thing is a curiosity, that when I finished the school, I had an internship of a couple of months in a travel agency. And then I was proposed by a hotel of a company that is Hilton, to have a 1-year internship for free. And there, when I was there, I said, oh, no way, 1 year is too much. And I didn't accept, After years, I thought that maybe I could have, because invest also when you're young, also for free, for a time in a big company, which is structured, which can teach you the basics, just gives you the opportunity to go everywhere. So maybe my choice was wrong. At the end, I ended up in Hilton, anyhow. But maybe my path has been a little bit more, let's say, not difficult, but hard, because I didn't have in every place where I was, I didn't have a manager above him of that department where I could learn. So I have to learn a lot by myself, except for that parenthesis I was telling you about that training that was for me great. I thought for the first time somebody is teaching me something, instead of having to learn everything by yourself and reading and understanding, also making mistakes, because mistakes are important. So first of all, if you have the chance from a company for a limited time to invest your life without being paid, but in a place where you know that you can have some knowledge, you can have a baggage you can bring with you. Think about it, because it could be a good opportunity. Another piece of advice is stealing by your eyes. That is what I did. So I always looked at the other people who were ahead, to know things, to understand, to see what they were doing, why they were doing, and try to grow also with this. It's not a matter of copy and paste, of course. I'm talking about in your job when you will start. Don't do just your daily task. If you are offered to do something, a project, or to help your manager or somebody else in something that is not really related to your daily task, do it, because you have the chance to learn something new, to grow. And you don't know what can come from that. So do this as well. Also, one important thing I want to mention, that I was given a piece of advice of one of my friends, Simone Quarto, that was and has been for me like my mentor, you know. And many years ago, he told me, you should invest in the networking, you know. This is, I think, a precious tip, because networking and learning just cut the time of your time to do that. So to read, to study, and to know people, to be in contact with people, because this is important for you to grow and also to have more opportunities. And yeah, I'm feeling like full of tips, so I would like to give another one if you thank you. So another one is to be ready and open to change departments. That this is yeah, something that I did. I had to take courage on that, of course, and it happened to me just some years, yeah, after some years. But it is important, because most of all, if you want to grow up in the hospitality, you need to know all the departments. So it's really important, if you work or if you spend the time working in different departments, you can have an overview, you can understand the flow also of the work in the hotel. You can understand why you are doing something that for you maybe this is not important, but it's important for the other department, and the other way around, of course. You are open to collaborate, to communicate, and I think this is key also, because in the hospitality this is pretty important. So if you are also starting, if you have a proposal, also look at the company. Try to understand which kind of company it is, what they are giving. Also, for example, if they are organizing some trainings, we know that trainings, so hoteliers are not really open to doing trainings, but for example, chains are a little bit, let's say, they have a commitment and they have to arrange trainings for the employees. I don't know, maybe I just anticipated a question, but you know, everything is connected in our industry, in our job. So this is important also. Be open. Don't think another training can be, wow, another more effort for me. No, it's an opportunity. And I make an example. When I started this new path in the commercial, in the sales and group and events, and I had to learn everything, of course, about banqueting, about how to do events, what is a banqueting kit, and everything, you know, dealing with the chef, with the F&B manager, with the organization, everything. At the same time, I was assigned to a project that is called Ignite, and it's like a program, like a study program. And the duration was almost a year, so 10 months where I had to study 4 modules, very, very long. And this was about leadership. So there were different modules about leadership, yourself, managing others, managing the change, how to, to react. But it's not only studying, it was also, you had assignments, so work to do. And for me, it was extra work, of course. So I could have also, thought, no, that's too much because I have already so much to do. But I'm happy that I accepted this challenge, again, another challenge, because I was enriched, and there was, first of all, also certification that was important for me to have, but also you have, you are taught with these important things. So also the training are important. Of course, in this moment, if in this moment you are working, so the young people are not working because they are just waiting for the recovery that will happen, we said, my advice is to learn as much as possible. If it's possible, take another certification. I did it as well. So last year I took a certification with HSMAI, so this CRME about revenue management, because I wanted to have an official certification. Also, even though I had all these trainings, so if you are waiting, yes, wait, but working. So try to enrich yourself, to learn more. Use LinkedIn for networking. Also to read something about the hospitality. Choose also which is the field of your interest. Make a goal and decide which are the steps to reach that goal. And maybe, if you want to work in the F&B, so start reading and reading articles and point of view through LinkedIn, but not only, about what's happening, the new ways to what's happening in the F&B in this period, and the same for the other departments. So I think that there could be a lot to do, and accept the challenge. This is really my motto: accept the challenge.
Which is something you've been doing. No. I was unmuting myself. No. I mean, I was just writing it down. I'm taking notes as always, so I can put it later on the written notes for the podcast. Accept the challenge. That's brilliant. No, I was recapping on the tips you've given for young ones, which there were loads, so very, very interesting. So first one, invest in yourself. That's super important, and I agree with that one as well. Invest in networking. That's crucial, both time and effort. Do research on companies. Keep learning as much as possible. Get a new certificate if you have the chance as well. Research, LinkedIn, great source of information. And then accept the challenge. That's a great one. To recap, what's been your background, your career, right? Always taking new challenges, always growing and progressing, and taking the challenges. Brilliant. Good, Federica, I think that's it for now. So again, thank you very much for your time. Lots of information you shared, which will be online available for, especially I think for whoever wants to grow within revenue, because you have so much knowledge about revenue, that giving all that information, I think are very, very helpful, those tips to get some light into this arena. So again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you again. I enjoyed this time sharing my story and also advice. I didn't think I could speak so long, but it was really fun, and I enjoyed this time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And also want to say congratulations for what you are doing, because this is a really great initiative to give also insight, to give to help and support people, new people, so young people who need to enter in our world. So really congratulations for this initiative.
Well, thank you very much. Very encouraging. Thanks a lot, Federica. Cheers.
Cheers.
That was all for now. Hope you found it useful. Remember that you have more information on our website, www.torresconsulting.co.uk, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and Twitter. Stay well. Goodbye for now.